25. Like to start off by taking the roll.
Member DeLong,
Here.
Member Cuban,
Here.
Member Mason,
Here.
Member Snyder,
Here.
Member Dutton Mitchell.
Here.
We have a very brief agenda for the most part before we go into closed session. The only item we have is consider the selection of a third-party administrator for FPB's health plan. Nichelle, you've given us a bunch of documents through the email, and if you just go through those, we can start the discussion.
Also, I would like to let everyone know we have Lisa Stam here with us today from Cheryl Morgan. She is our health plan consultant.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, sorry. We provided some of the questions that Mr. Cubine had was how does Point C and the Anthem network compare? And we were able to get information from our stop loss carrier to let us know that there could be potential savings on our claims. But again, everything is dependent upon how our claim year is. The board does have 3 options, and the first option is to remain with MedBen and retain our current network, which would be Cigna, or we could remain with our third-party administrator MedBen and switch to a different network, which would be First Health Network, or we could change TPAs altogether, so switch from MedBen and change to Point C and acquire and use the Anthem network. So did the board have any questions?
Just two things. Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman,
go ahead, John.
2 things. I saw the employee survey, and it looked like overall the employees are not unhappy with our current plan. I think the major thing that we heard is kind of the network disruptions from time to time. And from a claim standpoint, it looks like it does not look like Anthem's going to cost us more. It looks like employees overall, if Cigna could stabilize their network, they've had the disruptions, Norton's, UK and so forth. But Lisa, is there any reason to think that those situations are going to get any better?
It's hard to say. I think Cigna's had its share of difficulties and probably will continue to.
Is it just not that big a player in Kentucky or in Central Kentucky?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is it just not? It's not a big player in Central Kentucky.
Right. I mean, Anthem is kind of king of the hill, and there is some possibility that MedBen could have access to the Anthem network in the future, but I just don't have a good timeline for that. They're in early discussions with Anthem.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else have any questions? From my point, I want to kind of echo what John had to say. The disruptions are really, really rough, and Cigna's negotiating strategy has been, rather hardcore. I mean, when they cut out the University of Kentucky hospital and the University of Kentucky system, it's a big thing to kind of cut out. It's a big thing for our employees as well. When I look at the options, when I look at option 3, going with the Anthem network, the only real downside to it seems to be the pharmacy benefit stuff. And quite honestly, I'm not sure how much of that is, illusory and how much of that is real. I mean, from what I understand, they will give us a number that we get. It's just that we won't get anything in excess of that. So, to me, option C seems to be the way to go. Does anyone else have any comments? Yes, Catherine. Go ahead, Catherine, and then Jason.
Okay. Lisa, do you have any insight into, at least maybe with other entities or clients, when they have switched to Anthem? I know it looks like we're gonna have some savings, but how does that pan out with the prescription issue? I mean,
well, We've not transitioned a group to the Anthem network. We do have a group using the Anthem network through Point C. And they do have a different pharmacy benefit manager than the one you'll be using. So don't have first-hand experience with Carolyn. But whatever issues we have on the pharmacy side, I think we can work through and will be more than offset by the access to all the providers that your employees will have with Anthem. I think he just kind of reached a critical mass with the UK situation. People's care was starting to be disrupted and it just was not a tenable situation.
Can I ask one other question, John, Mr. Snyder?
Let Jason
Oh, I'm sorry,
answer,
yeah.
Okay, well, and thanks, guys. I've done this a lot for myself and my business, but never obviously for an organization. And there's a lot of moving parts. Lisa, thanks for your advice on all of this. I guess I'd just make a few comments. One is, I've been in and out of Anthem kind of my whole life. I think a lot of us have through the state and everything. And I always feel like it's a pretty solid provider. I always feel like I don't have any problem getting my needs met in Central Kentucky for my family and for myself. And so it's a pretty known quantity to me. So I feel pretty good that that's on the table. It seems like that is the gold standard, at least where we're at in Central Kentucky. Two, I'm not really sure how Point C, I didn't even quite ever understand the MedBen Cigna, and I apologize, it's just very complicated. Like how that interaction happens, especially on top of us as an entity. Would you just mind taking just a minute to kind of let me understand that connection between Point C and Anthem?
Sure. So currently MedBen is your third-party administrator, and they through MedBen you lease the Cigna network. So Cigna is not really they're not really administering your plan. You're just allowed access to their network. They also do your case management. So in the Point C situation, Point C will be acting in the administrative role that MedBen currently has. So they'll be the new MedBen, if you will. And you'll be leasing the Anthem network through Point C. And Anthem will have some behind the scenes responsibilities for your plan. So repricing of claims. So that means applying the discount to your claims. But really, most of your interactions as an employer will be with Point C. And anything that happens with Anthem will be through Point C.
Okay, and to date, MedBen and Cigna have been very good to work with. They've been very professional. It's just this network thing is a big issue. I mean, it seems like we're moving to more consolidation, not less over time. And the idea that 80% of the doctors in Frankfurt, and maybe that's just a sweeping number, are somehow tied to one network and you could lose all of them in one go it's a real issue. So it seems like Anthem staked itself more on territory than specific relationships. They're like, this is just, we're going to cover everyone in this territory. Maybe that's my sense. And for where the insurance world is headed, that seems like you got to kind of partner with the group thinking that way. But okay, but thank you very much.
You're welcome.
John?
I'll just two questions real quickly. So one, you feel confident from what you know, and you can't guarantee anything. I know that Point C has the resources to take us on.
Yes. Now, I will, with one caveat, Point C recently purchased Aspirant. And so right now, Aspirant is the name of the company that is providing this proposal, but they're going to rebrand as Point C in January. So I have more experience with Aspirant. I have about 10 years of experience working with Aspirant. So provided nothing significant changes with the purchase by Point C of Aspirant, then I feel very confident. But whenever there's a purchase, of one company by another, over time, there probably will be some changes. So I can't guarantee that my past experience is going to be a good barometer of what happens in the future with Point C, but we like what we're seeing so far. The changes that have been made at Aspirant since Point C came on, I think it was a little less than a year ago, have all been positive. So far, so good. And I feel good about your prospects going forward with them.
And the other question was, and Michelle, this is more yours also, I guess, is that for our employees, because rumors will run rampant. The benefit package that we're going with for this is their same benefit package they currently have, correct? It's not it's not the state's benefit package, it's our current benefit package going forward. So employees aren't going to see a different set of benefits, deductibles, co-pays, or anything like that, correct?
Correct. 'Cause
Okay,
that's just part of being self-funded. We actually
Right.
own the plan, yes.
yes.
And could I add something there? So when we set up the plan with Point C, we will set up the benefits as they are today with MedBen. The only thing that is probably going to catch a few employees off guard, either in a positive or a negative way, is that pharmacy formulary. Because Point C, well, Caroline will have its own formulary. Right now, you use a formulary that's created by Ventegra. And so there are going to be drugs that are in a different tier with the Caroline formulary than they are currently. And so if a member's taking, let's say, a tier 2 medication right now with Ventegra, Ventegra is the pharmacy benefit manager that MedBen uses. When you go to Caroline, it might be a tier 3 drug. Or vice versa. There could be a drug that somebody's currently taking that's a tier 3 drug now that'll be a tier 2 drug. So there will be some changes in the tiers of the medication. That's the thing that usually people notice the most, because we can set up the co-pays to be exactly the same as they are today, but it's that formulary that, we always try to avoid saying nothing is going to change, because as soon as you say that, then somebody's going to be paying a different copay because they've got their drug in a different tier.
Right.
Thank you.
Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, Lisa, just I guess a logistics question. How hard or how practical is it if you needed to change next year? If you make a decision now with Point C and suddenly decide mid-year you don't like it, and so next January you would want to do something else. Does that happen, or is it impractical?
It has happened before, and other than the situation I just described with the formulary, you'd be doing that again in a year.
Yeah.
But really, that would be the biggest thing. People would have to get new ID cards.
Yeah.
If you're moving networks, then you'd have maybe a few providers that are in or out of network with one and not the other. So it's doable. It's not a decision that could not be undone.
So for me, John, it looks like to me Point C is what everyone favors, what Nichelle and Lisa are favoring, and absence of any better information,
Yeah.
1 year of it at least.
I kind of agree. I think, if this turns out to be a bad thing and we're not happy with it, we're making a decision to change 2 months beforehand. So we've got time to figure out what it is. I just think on the whole, I just think the network, I think, is going to yield more benefits. The overarching thing for me is the larger, more solid network that's not prone to these disruptions. I think that's the best thing for our folks. So, does anyone else have any questions? I did have one more. Right now, the HRA plans and the other things, any of that overage that someone might have that would ordinarily carry forward to next year, will that move over to the new plan, or how would that be handled?
Yes, all those balances would be transferred over to Point C. There'll be reports that go from MedBen over to Point C.
Okay,
And
good,
allow them to
good.
load the accounts.
Excellent. Okay, then, if there are no more questions, I'll accept a motion to take some action here.
So moved.
Second.
So the motion's been made and seconded that we go with option 3, that is changing our TPA to Point C and using the Anthem network. All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. John, can I get a motion from you?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to request permission to call a closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101C to discuss pending litigation regarding a customer matter.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to go into closed session for a few minutes.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
closed
Well-
session. Go ahead.
Make a motion to come, second.
Motion, do I need a second from somebody else?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to come out of closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Cubine, do we need to take any action from our closed session?
No action is necessary, based on our closed, session, sir.
All right, and I'll need a motion to adjourn.
Well, before you do that, real
Yeah.
quick, could I make a shameless plug?
I
This
don't know, it's
violates
not on the agenda.
Yes, but today is Friendsgiving at Thornhill at lunchtime, and 55 restaurants donate food, and all you have to do is bring a food item or a school item or make a donation, and it's free food at Thornhill. So I know that violates, but I just want to make.
Well, I will overlook that egregious violation of the Open Meetings and Open Records Act
Okay,
in the
thank you,
spirit
sir.
of community service. So, I will, then from now I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you all.